Let's talk about something interesting. I don't think I ever actually shared my journey from how I went from tech to being a property investor here in Dubai, but also around the world, where in Bali I started my property investing journey and opened my Airbnb there with my partner Wayan. And currently we have 20 rooms. I also did property investing in my home country in Moldova. So all this has been a really fruitful, very long and hard journey, and I don't think I actually shared it to you in full. So if you're new here, my name's Alex Gorashov. I'm a property investor currently based in Dubai, originally from Moldova. So привет всем, salute tuturor. This is in Romanian and Russian, my native languages. And with that, I wanted to make a video where I would just tell you a little bit more on the last 5 to 6 years where I actually made this transition from tech to fully being a property investor in Dubai. So this one is gonna be a bit of more of a laid back video where I just tell you about my very own experiences, and hopefully I help someone who's currently on a similar journey. Maybe you want to start doing the same, or you just want to transition from a full-time 9 to 5 job to doing your own thing. So hopefully you will find this video helpful, inspiring in the best case. So if you do so, leave your comments below, thumbs up, and subscribe. This will help me a lot in making this kind of videos going further. So to start off with, let's go back to 2019, which is the year where I decided that corporate life for me in London was enough. So if you don't know my story, I actually moved from Moldova to UK, did my A levels there, did my university degree at Manchester, and then went to do my master's degree at LSE. When I also got a job at Shell during my university years, so I did an internship there, then I got an offer to continue. So this is how my career started. I was mostly in finance and trading at the beginning, and then moved into tech. So it was a fintech career going forward. And in 2019, it's been around 3 years working at Shell. And honestly, I had the best time of my life there, as in a graduate corporate life, because I've been given so many opportunities and chances to travel around Europe, at least, to stay in good hotels, to meet a lot of cool, interesting people, to go to different big factories and different laboratories as well, to see how kind of chemicals are, some different kinds of chemicals are made, lubricants, also factories, to see how Shell Helix and other automotive things were made. So it's been a really, really interesting start of the career. However, at the same time, I felt like I wanted to start my own thing, and I never really related to the corporate life. So I think I'm I've been mentioning this in a few of my videos. I was basically living my parents' dream of going to a good uni, doing my master's, getting a good paying job, and basically you're set. No one's worrying about you, and basically go for it with this kind of life. However, for me, I felt like I was just living someone else's life. So in at some point, this thought was becoming to grow more and more on me. And one day I just realized that, well, if I'm not being able to do this, then I will always regret about it. So basically, I was really in a hard, difficult situation because I was getting a very, very high paying role in UK. And of course, it's definitely not uh, like in being your own boss or being self-employed. You can earn much more, but comparing to the rates at that age and that level, I was definitely making more than enough. So it was really hard to say no to this and basically quit everything and go, do my own thing. But I felt like if I don't do it then, it's gonna be really, really hard to do it later. So one day I just basically went to my manager and told him that I will resign. And this was June 26th, 2019, where I was also contemplating on living somewhere in warmer conditions, going to either LA or Bali. So initially that was the plan, and I moved to Bali. So that was the basically beginning of my property investing journey, because I also saved some money. I wanted to buy my first property actually in London, and funnily enough, and thankfully, thanks God, I didn't do this because I wouldn't be able to actually rent it out legally. So I actually pulled all my funds and bought a few properties back in my home country in Moldova, where at that time it was super cheap and super affordable. You could buy it in terms. So I only paid 50% down payment for 2 1 beds. And I spoke about this in a couple of my other videos, but this is basically my first steps, baby steps into property investing without really having any kind of knowledge or support from anyone. Everyone was telling me this is stupid, that Moldova is a third world country where, nothing is stable. And I was just ignoring all the noise because I knew that I had to take this step. So basically, I made some big risks, but they definitely paid off, because those specific investments, they actually tripled. And in only 1 year and a half, I returned all my money plus 200 extra percent. Because just the market was exploding. I invested at the right time, and the building was done way more in advance than it was planned. So many people were really interested to buy, sold it. And at the same time, I already started my Airbnb subleasing journey in Bali and increased it to actually investing, because I met my partner and we built Padi Padi together, which is a 20-room hotel in Canggu. And we've been doing that for almost 6 years since then. But that was basically the start of the journey. However, I think in other videos, I didn't mention that I was sometimes also working just to support all this journey in tech. So how did I manage this? During COVID, I was meant to come back home because I wasn't sure if I want to stay actually in Bali. It was quite risky to just be locked down there, because there's no high medicine there. And if something happens, it's going to be really difficult. I would have to fly to Singapore or Malaysia to get the necessary doctors to look after me in case of getting the COVID and so on. So I actually came back home, and our Airbnb wasn't performing the best, obviously, because it was COVID. So we had to take some losses at that time. So basically, some of my friends introduced me to a couple of managers at Endava, which is a tech company based in London, but with roots from Moldova. And they had really good roles there. And basically, I wasn't still very sure that I want to go back to working for someone, but I didn't really have a choice. So that's how I kind of was still in between tech and doing my own thing for the past 5 years at least, because this past year I was just being on my own and doing my own thing finally. And basically those interviews with Endava went pretty smooth, pretty well. We liked each other, as in I liked the company culture and so on. They were also very open to providing remote work. So for me, this was perfect because I could just combine, my own stuff with also working on a regular salary and having this income funding my other ventures. So basically, I accepted the role. Actually, I went back to Bali for another month just to make sure that I've closed everything, as in I've prepared everything with my partner to tackle COVID. And we shifted at that time our strategy to actually taking more local Indonesian tourists, so that we can actually have some 80-70% occupancy. That's what we were thinking of, but we ended up having 98% occupancy just due to this strategy. Since Indonesia was kind of locked. You had to get a business visa or a social visa to get in, which was expensive. It was difficult to get. You had to stay for a week in a 4 to 5 star hotel when you arrived there. So it was really, really expensive for people to get back to Bali. And that's why I thought, why not, we focus on just the Indonesian market because they don't need any visas. It's the fourth biggest country in the world with 300 plus million people. So we'll definitely have, you know, demand. And obviously during COVID, people in lockdowns, they definitely wanted to at least move around their own country. So this strategy really helped, but I had to make sure that everything's in place. And then I accepted the role, actually being on the beach and talking to the recruiters. Even they didn't believe me that I will accept this, but I told them as is, you know, this lockdown is starting. So I wasn't sure that I'm going to make it if I stay there. And I think I took the right turn because many people got actually fully locked down in there and no one was able to return home or travel for at least 6 months. So I went back and started this role. It was remote, so I was still basically setting up my home in my home country. I bought another very small apartment at that time to just live in there, built my own, working setup and studio, and kind of got back to being employed, but also juggling with my own ventures. So it was a good time, I would say, just because people weren't really able to do anything at that time. And at least I had, I was fully busy with my um, tech work and also doing my own stuff. So in tech, I was actually a product manager slash project manager. So had my own team and we worked with a couple of companies throughout Europe and specifically in fintech and payments. And it was also challenging for me. I had to manage people directly. I had, also to learn many new things. So I'm really thankful for that experience. And I guess the only thing is that, I'm not thankful for COVID, obviously, that it started because if it didn't start, then I would probably have more villas. Maybe I would be growing my portfolio in Bali at that time, but I had to take this big pause and basically be located somewhere else, meaning I came back home. And yeah, just reflecting back, it was kind of a challenging time, but at the same time, I was thankful to have this paying job that was providing me with the regular income. And I would highly advise you, if you're thinking to start your own thing, to do this while you are employed, because otherwise it's really, really difficult. And even now, like I don't have regular income, so I'm providing my own services. And sometimes it's really difficult because, I might have something 1 month and then the next month it's really down and it really hits you hard. So it could become, kind of demotivating to put in the work and to do anything. So I really understand you if you're at that stage, and I hope you push forward, because if you won't, then no one will, So I'm also saying this because I want to motivate myself, because it's sometimes difficult. And even this month, for example, I had one client, but I'm trying to close more, and it's been difficult. I don't know. Maybe it's just because people are going to holidays and they want to spend too much more. They are just getting presents for their families, but I don't know. We'll see how this trend fluctuates. But basically, going back to the story, I was juggling the product work in fintech with my own stuff. At that same time, I was building a pretty good credit portfolio in Moldova. So I was able to leverage a couple of mortgages to basically invest, sell, invest again back home, and try to grow my portfolio at that time, even during COVID, which was really, really good and helpful, because I raised enough money to then be able to invest in Dubai, where actually during COVID, I bought my first property here in Dubai, and I got it as an off plan, quite frankly, stupidly, because I didn't even see the property. I didn't even meet anyone. It was all remote. Although I knew about the developer, it was from Damak. They were providing, really good payment plans, and the property wasn't Business Bay, so I knew that Business Bay downtown, they're always gonna be popular because it's just right by Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall. There's a lot of tourist inflows. So while I took a big risk, I also saw a big return and reward, because at that time I got it probably for half price of what they were going now. And that's exactly why, I'd always say that you should take the risks, but make sure they're calculated. Because even looking back, it wasn't really calculated. So I'll just have to agree. It was quite stupid. I just wanted to expand and I wanted to do it quickly. So thanks God that at least I got a one bedroom, not something larger, because it would be really hard to pay it off. Nevertheless, going back to the story, I was able to somehow meet a couple of really good guys that were working in fintech in Dubai, and I got relocated to Dubai after the COVID ended back in everywhere actually. So I moved to Dubai in 2022 fully. I've been before many times, staying for a month or 2 months, but fully I've moved in 2022, where I took all my stuff here, and I started basically looking more into the market, reinvesting my money here, and still working in tech. So I actually was the senior product manager and head of product for a couple of startups here, then became a CPO for one startup. And basically, at that time, the market was kind of going down. It was really hard to keep up with high salaries here and so on. So, to be honest, from one role, from my last one, it was coming to me getting redundant, because the startups were really, really failing. As in, it was really hard for them to raise the money, and they overemployed people. And I'm not saying we were probably not supposed to be there or so, but we were just the last in and the first out. So before doing that, I ensured that I have a really good package. So I kind of left by myself, and that's when I realized that I need to push for my own stuff. And my own stuff was already going well. I had two apartments that I was renting at the time, and I'm still renting them on long term. And I was getting this, monthly check payments that were basically helping me to not really need any job or any tech role to support me with this, which was pretty nice. So yeah, basically that's how this happened. So this was a kind of abrupt transition from being a pretty big figure, as in having a big role in tech, to getting fully into property investing. Everything that is happening is for the better. At least I try to believe in that. And I'm definitely having more time to look at opportunities. I've built my own personal brand. And this year, although challenging, I've been able to reflect a lot on where I want to be, what is my vision of life. Maybe I will want to even, look at a couple of other properties in different locations, not only in UAE. I'm considering a few countries like Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kuala Lumpur, and Malaysia as well. So it's been a very interesting year and a pretty long, challenging, yet rewarding journey. So I hope you found it interesting. If you relate to this, or you're in a similar stage throughout your journey where I was, let me know in the comments below, because I'm actually super curious to learn more about other being in the same positions. I've actually met a lot of people, really, really cool connections through YouTube. So really thankful for that. And if you want to know more, Let me know again, subscribe and thumbs up this video because I'll be doing more on reflecting on my own journey, and hopefully this will help you and inspire you. So until then, I thank you for watching. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next video.